So what I was saying was, in this video, I am going to be drawing the 80s and 90s wrestler Bret Hitman Hart. This was a last minute decision based on a drawing prompt list that I saw from channel member Aaron Pallison? I'm sorry, Aaron, if I'm saying your name wrong. He shared it, and I thought it was funny. It's called WrestleMania, and it was done by the artist Mike Hartigan. So you can check him out on Instagram. But I saw that today's was Bret Hart, and was one of my favorite wrestlers. I just got distracted because I saw the audio sync is off. I think the audio sync that's a whole other beast that I think, because I had to switch mics on the fly, things are going to be a little bit off. It's a live stream. Just when I'm drawing, it won't be as noticeable because you won't see my face up close and personal. It'll be a smaller face on the bottom side. I'm a little bit flustered. If you could just, go ahead and give me a little like, so I can feel better about myself. Well, since this was a last minute decision, it was just sort of willy nilly, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be great. But then I started thinking, I sometimes struggle drawing characters that are like actual people that have like a likeness, and I tend to try to go a little bit more real, and I hate that. Like, I want it to be simple. I want it to be really stylized. So that's my plan here. I had sort of an idea for how to make this work right before the stream, so I started like scribbling out a concept. So I think it's going to work. I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible and talk about how I make things as minimal while still sort of making it clear who the character is. So that's the plan. Hopefully we can get through it. Let me switch over to my iPad. And I just hope that the audio is still working. Let me know if the audio is working. All right. So I gathered some reference images. Hey, Aaron, thank you for sharing this and giving me this idea. I just want to know if my audio is working. Okay, cool. All right. So anyway, this is Bret the Hitman Hart. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of Bret Hart. I think it probably had to do with the hot pink and black ensemble. It just really spoke to me. So I thought this was going to be a great idea because I liked Bret Hart, and I just, wanted to do it. But then, as I mentioned, I got a little stressed out because I was like, wait, I don't want to draw this and make it look like real. I want it to look in my style. So I started working out an idea. So let me move this over to the side so that we can get this sketch up. So I started thinking about this in terms of just making it as simple as possible and breaking it down into shape. And that way I could use that to make it a more minimal style illustration that better matches the things that I normally do. So I was looking at him, especially like, this one, this poses, and like the idea of a wrestler being like, having that broad torso area and like the neck being real muscular. Bret Hart isn't one of those like huge wrestlers, but I'm exaggerating. That's what we can do in illustration. And I mean, he does have his neck is as big as his head. So, I mean, that's something. So anyway, he also has that like cocky demeanor where there's a lot of pictures of him where he's just like, woo, I don't know what that noise is. Being a tough guy, hands on his hips. So I wanted to sort of go with that look. So what did I do? I must have undone. So to get that sort of pose, I just like drew a horizon line and then a curved line to build the shapes off of. And then I was just sort of like trying to see if I could make a lot of it out of triangles. And then I went a little bit further and then did even more triangles, trying to just get this sort of shape system worked out. And I was realizing that like there's so many triangles in this. And then having this as like a starting point would be a really, I don't know, an easier way for me to stylize it and make it more in the vein of, you know, my work. So that's the plan. We're gonna, Jenna has said Barbie wrestler, which is kind of funny with the hot pink. Aaron said, love your shirt, in the same one. Wizard of Barge, great shirt. I'm just recovering from the chaos of the start. Okay. All right, so this is what we're going to start with. This is going to make it easier for me to draw. So what I'm going to do is bring down the opacity on this and then start a new layer, trying to sort of get this all worked in. So I don't really need to look at reference to do the arms and like the body, because it's just generic muscle man wrestler stuff. So I'm just going to try to wing that part willy-nilly. I am doing like the hands on the hips, like this pose here. So I think maybe I'll start working those in. Like, I don't know. I think I'm also choosing to start there because they seem like the hardest part. I don't know why. Just getting that placement right. So just kind of simple. Again, I want this to be very simplified, like my style. So then we could do like some shoulder muscles and then just big giant muscles. Like a forearm and like a stupid little elbow. Like that. And I still haven't figured out how to get some background music with OBS, so that's another can of worms. So there's going to be some silent times in this one. All right, so those are some big muscles. They may be a little too big, but I think that's okay. So we can get this torso in just on that vertical line. And then I don't really need the reference for the legs either, because these are just generic muscle man legs. But it's all about the big top in this stylization. Like, you know, those are the glamour wrestler muscles. They're not worried about their legs. I mean, they might be, but in my stylization, I'm not thinking about it. Like they skipped their leg day. So I'm just sort of keeping the legs real simple and just getting that sort of leaned back pose on this angle. I think that body is pretty funny and okay. So I do want to bring the head in to sort of work from. I'm thinking maybe that one. So because I have this all as one image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this and move it over so I can sort of look at it while I'm drawing. And again, I want to keep this very simple, but the sunglass, so like what I'm thinking about when I'm doing this kind of thing is like the most important part when you're simplifying something, you want to like just think about what is very distinctive about that character. And you could do this with like lettering too, if you're doing lettering styles. Like what's most distinctive about the thing that you're drawing, and like just focus on that and let everything else sort of be a little bit more minimal. That way you can exaggerate other things that aren't as important to the character. But for Bret Hart, these glasses, super important, super iconic, and then this like hair. So like the other stuff can be super minimal. And again, like as we did with the body, it's just sort of like, we don't have to worry about the details of like stuff that isn't important. So I'm going to be focusing on, you know, these sunglasses. And so it looks like they sort of like curve more at the top than what I did here. So I think I'll just sort of curve that over a little bit, and then they sort of hug the nose, and then they're just like that. And he's got some pretty big nostrils, actually, now that I think about it. I think what we'll do for the nose is just sort of like a seagull to show that he's sort of like looking back, kind of cocky. And then we'll just do like a little mouth, because he's sort of leaned back, I think. And then so this triangle is like the under the chin. So I think we'll just sort of like, I don't know, do like he's sort of, doesn't really have a butt chin, but it's just sort of that kind of curved shape. He does have a little bit of a under chin thing. And then just this thick neck, and then maybe I'm only doing triangles for ears because his hair covers them. You usually only see like the bottom part. And then pull that in. Daniel B., you said, are you looking forward to the new iPad Pro coming out? So yes, very much so. I'm admittedly an Apple nerd, and I tend to like upgrade and get new stuff a lot, and I haven't upgraded this iPad since 2021. This is a M1 iPad Pro, and it's fantastic. I have no issues with it, but like I'm ready. And I've been excited about a new one for a while. And it's not like I need a new one, but I sort of do. I just want one. So yeah, I'm excited about the Apple event and ordering a new iPad. So I'm just doing simple kind of curls there for the hair. I think that ear is a little too big. I'm gonna pull that in, and then just like these greasy curls hanging over the glasses. Those are very important. So get some of those. And I think we're getting somewhere. I'm not in love with this mouth. I might want to work on that a little bit. Maybe flare that nostril a little bit. I think maybe I'll just sort of simplify it and then do like a little line for the chin. And then this this like unitard thing, I love that it comes down in between so he can like show off his nips. So I'm just gonna pull this in, exaggerate that. I love how it like comes down so low. It's so silly. And then we can get a little bit of that pec action here. I feel like and then we just get little nippies over here, little nippity doodads. And then definitely need the championship belt. So I think just at this point, just sort of sketching it in. It's got to be big. Maybe it like obscures all of it. I don't know. I might have to adjust how that comes in. But I think this is at a place where I can start to like make a tighter version of it. So let's get rid of this extra thing, and let's turn that off, and then let's blow this up. Faded ink. I haven't done a lot of writing, but I have put out several books of my drawings, so there's a little bit of writing in there. Not a ton though. But thank you, Skippy McHaggis, for sharing that link to my website. All right, so at this point, it's like a super rough sketch, and I'm gonna try to like, you know, make it a little bit tighter without ruining the energy of the looseness. So I'm gonna switch over to the Retro Supply Co. Classic Inker, which is my favorite pixel-based inking brush. And it's part of their liner set. If you're interested, you can find a link below. Oh, I'm gonna switch to black. All right, so I really want to get these muscles looking bulbous and like nice, clean, tapered lines there. I'm trying to think if I might want to make the hands a little bit smaller so that I have more room for the belt. Let's see if that'll look okay. So I'm trying to just keep them as simple as possible. Apologies for that cough. I don't like that hand at all. We're gonna need to go right back to the sketching brush and get smaller hands here. Sometimes when you think your sketch is okay, you're not quite ready, and you need a looser brush to just sort of figure it out. All right, I want it to be super simple. I'm not trying to make these realistic hands, so I don't know why I'm stressing about this. All right, let's switch back to Classic Inker. Both of these, so the brush that I like to sketch with is the Scumbler, and the Inker is the one that I like to do my line work in. Both of these are in the liner set from Retro Supply Co. Just kind of pointing that out because people always ask about brushes that I use. So I have some vector presets for Fresco for inking brushes that I use, and I sort of styled my VV Sharpie and the gritty vector presets off of this Classic Inker so that they would sort of work okay. So I'm going to copy this and paste it, not so that I can use it exactly, but I'm going to use it to like just sort of get the size and placement right. I'm going to draw over it. Okay, and let's come in here and, whoops, we're using the wrong thing. That bottom part of the forearm. And then, I don't know what it is. I just like these little elbows sticking out, sort of. Is it like Popeye who has that? Okay. I think that's pretty good. And then let's bring down the opacity on this hand. Can merge it with that one. Oh, man, I am still recovering from that chaos. I feel like I haven't had a smooth start to a live stream in a long time, and I think I am due for one. Especially because I went into this one so just feeling good because I spent a lot of time yesterday just sort of like testing and like setting up stuff and like getting my scenes all coordinated. I got like little things like this where, oh, you know what? I should have used it before when I was talking about the Retro Supply Co. brushes. I got this scene now. We got my link below. I've got like stuff set up now. The other thing that I forgot to mention is that I have amazing channel members, and all of my super supporters and above, I do a drawing of their name and include it in all the videos that I make while they are active channel members. And I have that graphic back for the live stream. So let me just pop that up real quick to just shout out these very special people. These are all of my current super sporters and above, unless someone has joined in since I made this graphic last week. So thank you to all these amazing people. You can find out more about channel memberships below if you're interested. There's a lot of members only videos. There's a whole page on my website with a bunch of members only stuff. So check it out. Bucket, this is live. We are live. We're doing it live. All right, let me go back to my drawing page. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let me put this chat back up. Okay. What was I saying? Something. All right, so we got to minimize these ears. They're a little too chonky. He doesn't have memorable ears, so we don't want to make it. We don't want to have the ears be a focal point because those are not a crucial Bret Hart feature. But these sunglasses are, so we're gonna make sure that these are just right. Pull those in. Have that come down. I think we'll maybe even minimize the ears even more. I'm gonna cover it with the sweet, sweet hair. And then I think we wanna just sort of pull this widow's peak in a little bit. I think that's what it's called. Actually, I want this just a little bit of separation so that the sunglasses pop out on the side. So he doesn't have, I mean, it's not like really curly hair. It's just a little bit wavy, but it's pretty flat if you look at it. So I want to make sure I'm not, I think in my sketch it was a little too curly. So I think what I want to do is just sort of go like this. That looks more Bret Hart-ish. Just a little wavy, not full curly. And then let's just go ahead and fill that in. And it's starting to feel more Bret Hart-ish. Oh, don't worry, Omizu Paints. There's definitely going to be those things coming in. I think I'm going to wait and do those after. Well, no, I'm not. I was going to say I was going to work on like the sunglasses details after, but I could just do that on a different layer. So just sort of, I don't want to, he's got lots of them and I don't want to make it too much, but enough that it's like kind of clear that that's a feature. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so let's figure out this nose situation. I think we'll just have the middle part come in like that, and then those nostrils, those honkers, and then I think the mouth maybe having a little bit of an angle. We'll give that like cocky expression a little bit better. And then we'll get that chin shape, and then this under part. There's like, you know, no separation of the head and neck. It's all just one thing, which is not necessarily specifically a Bret Hart thing. It's just more of a wrestler thing. It's like the look that we're kind of going for here. All right, so let's pull these torso angles in. And then just get these simple, short little legs in, which is kind of funny. And then, so it's got this angle where he's just kind of leaned back a little bit, and that's why it seems like his weight is kind of back on this other leg. Whoops. I did a spazzy undo there. Thanks, Hardicus. Yep, this is in 2021 iPad Pro with the M1. I'm looking forward to upgrading to a new iPad hopefully next week when the new one is announced. That said, people often ask me about like, what's the best iPad to get and, what do you need for this stuff? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Like there's nothing that I'm lacking. It's a powerhouse. Like it's fine. I never have issues with performance. I'm just, a little bit of an Apple nerd, and I am excited about a new iPad. Okay. So if I'm being really honest, which I like to be, the hand situation is not working for me. So I'm just going to make a new layer and just try to figure out this situation, because there's too much of a separation between like the torso and the waist, and like I want to sort of emphasize just the simplicity of it and take away as much of the form as I can to sort of exaggerate that look, if that makes sense. So to do that, what I'm going to do is just draw the shape through like that to just sort of minimize what's happening in the body, and then I will work the hands on top of that, or work the hands in. My stomach just growled so loud that it felt like it shook my table. Okay, so let's bring this down, and let's so the problem is we want the hands to be resting against the body, and there was like a weird gap. That's weird. What's happening here? There's like that situation where it's like you're trying to draw simply and like not thinking about like I'm like I don't want this based in reality, but it's still hard to like not care as like it. I don't know. And it's funny because a lot of the illustrations that resonate the most with me are just so like not based in any sort of reality, and they're just so simplified. And then I just get kind of caught up in being like, well, that's not really how the hand would be. But what am I saying? Am I talking? Is anyone here? I'm losing it. All right, let's just pull this in like this. Just make it a little bit more simple. Oh, I think that was it. I think it was changing the finger positions a little bit. I don't know. It's just a little thing like that just really helped me, I think. Okay. It's just like a little bit more casual. Maybe we even got a thumb on the side of that one. No. That's not it. That is not it. You guys are, what are we doing here? Okay, so let's get rid of that. Now what we can do is just come in here and erase what we don't need. Like that. Okay. And now we just need to redraw the forearm lines so that they connect. Okay, like that. And then I can just erase the stuff we don't need from the top part. So what we'll do is merge that down, and then on the layer below, we'll just come in here and select all the stuff that we redrew. And then erase that, deselect. Now I can merge that down and then just fix up a couple little spots that were casualties of my indecision. Like that, pull in that little elbow, and then let's go ahead and taper this line. So I'm using the modifier to use my brush as an eraser so that I can keep that texture perfect. Like that. Okay. All right, that's feeling better to me. Okay. So we can delete that. Yes, this is the retro inker. You can find the link below. It says brushes I use. It's from the liner set. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a naked Bret at the moment. Okay, so the belt is a crucial feature, and I think we're gonna use that to draw it in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate my reference image layer, and I'm going to convert it to a pixel layer so that I can just take this belt here and I'm gonna copy and paste it and just use this as a guide to sort of figure out the sizing, and then I'm gonna trace the shape a little bit, but I really want to be simplifying it to you know, keep it matching the style. So I'm going to start with a new layer, and I'm going to try to just focus on the things that are the most important part. So like we'll get this curve here, whoops, that, and then I'm going to like exaggerate this WWF thing, make that a little bit taller. Sorry about the link thing. For some reason it doesn't play the sound for me, so I didn't realize that. Okay, and I want to sort of simplify these other things a little bit. So maybe we'll just go like that, 2 on each side. And then we'll do that, and then like this big, we'll just make that circle thing bigger. And we won't do the whole globe, but maybe some of those lines. We're gonna have to simplify this even more, but I'm just sort of getting the important details here, and then I will use that as a guide on its own to help me simplify it even more. Okay, so now we can turn this off, and now I can see it like this, and it helps me to like get a feel for it and realize that like we need to simplify it even more so it looks like a belt, because there's not this much kind of detail in the rest of this. So I think we need just like a more simplified overall shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make like a rounded bottom part like this, and then just sort of pull this. Yeah, okay. So again, we're just making this like overall shape that feels more like a belt buckle, or like, you know, a championship belt that matches the feel. So we'll put the circle thing in the middle. That's an important part. And then we can just sort of just add in some little details. And I think when we put some color in, it'll help. So instead of having text, since we're keeping everything simple, I'm just drawing in some, I don't know, we're still figuring it out. Just some little accents to sort of reference the idea of a belt. And then I think we'll put the side pieces in, like not that much, maybe like that, and like that, like he's wearing it instead of just holding it. Okay, I'm going to keep that on a separate layer because we may need to simplify it a little bit more. Now let's get his onesie going. Skippy McHaggis, he said, do you ever feel guilty using reference photos? You don't do anything like paint over, but I have this fear that I'm going to get in trouble if I use. So for me, like as you saw, it's so stylized that like I'm just sort of like using the reference to sort of speed things up, but like there's no like real link to the reference. Like there's no, like I'm not copying anything. So, sometimes it's just faster and easier to sort of isolate specific points. Like even with characters, like if I'm trying to get a likeness, sometimes I'll even just start like grabbing this, like the image, and literally tracing over it, but I don't use that for like my final art. But what helps me is I can just sort of like focus on getting those like key elements like this, and it's like, okay, we got the nose, and then like just like figuring out where they sit on the face, because sometimes that's important for, getting the likeness. But when I draw it like this, like it doesn't look as much like Bret Hart as the drawing. But what I'll do is then work from that as opposed to working from the photo, if that makes sense. But it's also a good example of how the reference isn't really, when you're stylizing things to this degree, the actual shapes don't work as well as the exaggerated stuff. Because when you're doing something that's literally tracing it, you need all that detail for it to be clear. But when you're really exaggerating it, you don't need as much detail because you're really just pushing the details that are important. Okay, so let's draw this onesie situation in. So it comes down real low and just sort of like dips behind the belt a little bit. It sort of gets obscured completely, but I'm going to pull it in like that because it's a important design element. I may need to pull it in even more though, because the thing that you see in all these pictures is we got the nippage showing. So we're not going to want to leave those nips. The nips are a crucial design element, if you will. So I'm going to pull this in even more. So much so that I think I'm going to modify the belt to taper in a little bit there so that we can really exaggerate these important points. All right, so it's a real thin strap, so we're going to make that clear and then dip that below like that. Okay, and then what do I do with my sketch? Do I still have one? Not that one. Maybe I abandoned it. Okay. So let's get these a little bit of pec action there. And then we're going to hold the side pecs, get a little side nippage. The technical term is side nippage. And then let's turn off that extra one. And then now that we have the rest of the onesie drawn in, we can what I'm going to do is taper this a little bit more just to give that unitard a little bit of breathing room, so when we get the color, we're not going to lose any of that hot pink action. And then we can bring that over. And then I think I have a little bit of belt coming through like that. I'm just minimizing it a little bit. I think it'll be obscured on the left side a little bit. Okay, and now we can pull in these little details. I might actually do these details not in the black line color. I might use like some sort of like darker gold color, but we can decide that in a bit. I think maybe we'll do okay, cool. So let's get rid of that, pull that in, and then what else got going on? We got the knee pads, but they're like pants colored, and we've got some hearts on the left. Let's bring our reference over so we can look at it a little bit closer as we're drawing these details. So the boots are just adorable. Let's see how much detail we want to put in here. So he's got this like, they're almost trying to look like fancy dress shoes or something. I don't know what's going on there. We'll just do that. Pull that part in. I think that's an important feature. And then let's just have them come up to there. And then, so there's like pink around the top. So it goes like, we'll just go like that. Just simplifying a little bit. Again, we don't want a ton of detail. And then these, like the little tie things, I think are a very important part of the style. So I'm going to bring those in. I think that those are not something we want to get rid of. Okay. And then, so there's the hearts go up on the left. So maybe we'll just do a couple of those. And then there's that like flame thing on the side. So I think we'll just do. Okay. I think that those are the elements. So let's merge that down. Let's get this reference back over there. Let's start to color this in. Hassan said, "Don't forget the neck muscles." So I think there was, I think I had those like little lines in. Maybe we'll do like. That's kind of funny. Then maybe like a little Adam's apple detail. I think I can't help myself, and I got to draw these like bulging muscle veins. Is my favorite thing to do on muscle men. Really accentuates the swole. Oh yeah, that's good. Those are crucial elements. He is just mega swole. And if you're a doctor in the stream and you're like, hey, that's not where those veins are. Well, listen, I'm sorry. Okay, let's start coloring this. Adam, you said, what happened to the TeePublic page? So I ended up bailing on TeePublic. I was just not psyched with them as a brand. Although the products were good, I just felt like I was getting all these targeted ads from them, and it was all just like clear copyright infringement stuff. Like they don't care about like all the popular stuff on there is just stuff that is like stolen. And then like people were selling my own designs in other shops, and it was chaos. I don't appreciate. I just feel like they should do better. So I bailed on them. I would like to do more stuff, more product on my own. I have some in my shop, but I do need to like re-up that game. But that's what happened. So I'm going to set this as a reference layer, and then I got a new layer below so I can start coloring. We've got to choose just the perfect hot pink. So let's see how this one is. Oh. Let's release the reference. Let's merge these down. And now we can do it because there was a gap there. Okay. So that hot pink I think is pretty good. Got to fix this space there where there was a gap. And then let's come back here. Fill that in. Get these hearts. And then, ooh, I forgot the wristbands. Those are a nice touch. Another pop of hot pink too. So we took the flames from that one and they're black there, but we're going to use pink here. And let's get the black pants in. And then we're going to need that like a lighter pink for the boots and the sunglasses. So instead of picking another one, what I'm going to do is grab this pink and then just make a lighter version of it like that. And then we can come in like that. So I'm just going to fill in those like nudgy little areas and then touch up some of this stuff here. Okay, that's just a visual thing. And then again, the sunglasses, then we can go in afterwards and add the like tone and like shadow stuff. The good Chad in with the what's the word? Moderation. All right, so I'm eyedropping the skin tone. I'm gonna go to the highlight color because the darker color I feel like doesn't really match him. And let's see what that one looks like. Oh, that's pretty good. So even the lighter one looks pretty dark, but I think that is that's pretty good. All right, so if we're being honest, his nips are a little brown. I don't want to do that. I want to just do a more, what I think of a nipple color is a little pink color. Okay, the rest of the boots are, I guess they're white. Okay. Now the belt is gold, obviously. So let's get a goldy color. So I think that's a little dark, but we can pull in some highlights afterwards, which I think will be good. And then, okay, so at this point, I'm going to release reference. And then what I'm going to do now is start to just add in some more detail. So the first thing I want to focus on is the sunglasses. The sunglasses have this like really, there's just like all that tone in there and highlights. So I think what we'll do is grab the pink, maybe just have it start to be darker towards the edges and then get maybe lighter towards the center. I think maybe it should be like a wiggly line to more look like light. And then we can maybe the lower part, some like shadowy area. And then we can go even lighter for, whoops, some like extra highlights. The famous pink nippage. Okay, so I'm just gonna match the curve of that other highlight like that. Maybe do one over here as well. Let's see what it looks like if we put a little like a shadow from the hair. I think that's a good look. Again, trying to keep things pretty minimal here. I don't want to like do a lot of detailed color when the illustration itself is so simplified. Okay, so let's do a little bit of detail in the skin, just a little bit of separation, if you will. So let's see. We'll just come in here to use it to sort of exaggerate some of the muscles. This might be a little too dark, but we can adjust that after the fact. Get these a little shadow on the veins to just make them pop a little bit. So sometimes if I have like something like the vein there, I'll use that as like the line to have that shadow area come back in. And I'm not basing these shadows on any sort of reality. I'm just doing it as like a visual because this has no bearing in reality. And then down here, and then we can use it to just give a little separation from the hand. A little bit there. And just like the lower part of the hand maybe. And maybe just a tiny bit on the strap. And then that separation there. We can do a little bit under the chin, little chinage, if you will, and then under that little Adam's apple, so there's maybe like a subtle little, I don't know, light thing. Maybe put the ears in shadow because they're half covered by hair. That it's really, I feel like this stage really starts to make it look more like a, I don't know, a somewhat decent illustration. It just starts to feel more legitimate, more finished, more polished. Ready for this? We're gonna do a little boop. Nope. that's not a good color. Ready? We're gonna go with this one. Boop. And then we get a little nippage dots. Look at that. That really sells the nip. Did you ever think you were tuning in for some nip details like that? Like how I'm like keeping everything simple, and then I zoom in and with some little nippage spots. All right, pull this in. It's easy for me to go a little bit overboard at this stage, but I'm trying not to. I'm just sort of tapering them off so it's a little bit more natural. All right, pull this over a little bit. All right, and then just a little bit at the top, a little bit behind these strands. And we can give the nose a little bit more shape like that, then underneath the nose. All right. Hassan, you said, oh, you're talking to Chad. Sorry. Retro Game Boys, you said my issue with coloring shadows highlights is to find where to put the light source on every part of it. Yeah, so my tip is to say who cares? Instead of thinking about light sources, I mean, technically that's important, but because my work is so stylized, it's like, you know, whatever. I do it to just accentuate what I want to accentuate. So like I'm doing it to just make these muscles a little more bulbous. You'll also notice that I'm constantly making new layers because it just makes it easier if I change my mind. I'm going to do a few little muscle highlights. I think that needs a little bit lighter. There's definitely got to be some shine. These guys were well greased up. And when I was getting psyched up and inspired and looking up reference, I watched a couple videos, and just the amount of shine and grease that was on these wrestlers was pretty wild. I also think we need, because this hair is like wet and greasy, I think a few little, few of these jobbers will really sell that. I also think that maybe a couple little side strands would better match what he's got going on. He does have some that go in the front, but I'm not sure if I want to do that, but we'll try it out. That's what layers are for. Oh, I think that's kind of cool. Maybe. Okay. So now this belt. So I think I want to simplify some of this line work stuff. So what I'm going to do is lock the transparency on my line work layer, and then I'm going to grab this gold color and I'm going to make a darker version of it. And then I'm just going to come in here and color over these little like flourish areas. Like that. Actually, I think I'll do it for all of it. Because these are details and not like the actual overall shape. So that's why I'm deciding that they are not as important. So because of this, I probably could have colored that separately, but I don't know. All right, let's make a new layer and do some shadow on the gold so we can add some highlights to sort of make it look shiny. So I guess I'm trying to think of how I want these shadows to be. So I think what I'm trying to do is make some parts look like they're raised above the rest. So this is pretty dark, but I'm going to lighten it up a little bit after that. Which I think will make sense once I lighten it up. All right, so let's fill that in. And now what we can do is lower that down a little bit. And then let's do a layer of lighter. I'm just like adding some little shimmery bits. And then I think we'll do just a little bit more shadow area. This is I think that color is a little off. All right, so yeah, I'm just going to put some little bit darker shadow. I just feel like this, to make it look a little bit flashier, having a little bit more detail on the belt might be helpful. And then let's just do some ultra light highlights to get that metallic shimmer. Maybe we can have the reference the WWF thing a little bit there. All right. I think I want to just put in a little bit of gray on the boots, just because the pure white looked a little off to me. All right, so this is feeling okay to me. I think I want to just do some quick lettering to go with this to just pull it all together. Sorry, I've been a little off following the chat too closely, working in on this. Is there anything that I missed? The good chat or any of my other wonderful moderators, if there's anything important happening in the chat that I should know, maybe you could bring it to my attention. Good Chad, Skipping McHaggis, Diana Lisa, those are my almighty powerful moderators at the moment. Okay, so I didn't leave enough room for lettering, and I have all this stuff on different layers. So a little hack to do this to make room for it is to change your canvas size. Even if you don't want to change it a lot, I do want to make it a little bit bigger, but even if you didn't, if you just came in here and just updated it a little bit, and then when you come back, it allows you to scale everything all at once, which is super helpful if you didn't prepare ahead of time for this. Okay, so let's turn off that stuff, and let's make a new layer. Switch back to my Scumbler to do sketching from the Retro Splico liner set. Link below if you're interested. If you're using Fresco, Fresco uses Photoshop brushes. Let me just turn this a little bit. Okay. So we're gonna put Bret HITMAN Hart on here. I'm thinking maybe some bold Hitman across the top and then maybe Bret Hart below, because Hitman is the cooler name, if we're being honest. So to do that, I'm just gonna sort of like map it in a little bit. So I'm thinking like the H, the I, the T, and then like the good chat. Oh, you were talking about the shipping profiles. Oh my gosh, that is one of the biggest struggles for me. I either like sometimes the pricing is just like crazy high, and then I try to lower it, and then even if I think I have it set up right, I feel like I like often lose money like shipping things to like, I don't know, Australia or something. Like I think I've charged enough, and then it costs me like $60 to ship something that I sold for 30. So that's what happens there. It is a struggle. Daniel B is wondering if you know what your shipping to Canada seems to go bananas in your web shop. I am not sure, but I will say as a blanket statement, if you were trying to order something from me and the shipping seems outrageous, just shoot me an email and I will make it work for you. I will figure out what's going on and make sure that it's not screwing you, because a lot of that stuff is automated and it's very confusing. Okay, so this is just to sort of figure out the spacing. I just go real simple, and then I use that as like a template. So now I can start to like stylize it a little bit. So I'm thinking just sort of like kind of bold, just block letters with a little bit of like action, just like Hitman, Hitman. So this is why just doing it simple first helps, because if you just started trying to go in and stylize it right off the bat, you could like run out of room, and it's just frustrating. There we go. So now it's balanced out, and even this is still like the template part, but it's sort of what I want. So you can get rid of that lower part, and then let's figure out how we will do the Bret Hart. So I always forget that it's just, I'm gonna say always, like I'm thinking about how Bret Hart spells his name all the time. I'm not, but it was something that I remembered. I don't know why when I was looking it up last night. So there's just one T in both Bret and the Hart. So I'm thinking I just want like, we could actually go with that like triangle thing and like do that on each side to reference how we've stylized the character with building it out of triangles. If you missed the beginning, we built this out of triangles. So I'm going to use those as like a shape to put the letters to, and then I'll just try to, normally I would just write it out plain to get started, but because the name is so short, I was feeling confident. Okay, and then the heart. Okay, so I think that's gonna work. So what we can do now is merge this sketch stuff all together, and we can start making it better. So I'll switch back to the classic anchor, and then, so I'm gonna bring my smoothing all the way down. I usually have it all the way up, but because I want these letters to be sort of like kind of shaky, I want to be able to move quickly. Just sort of like smash letters is what I don't know what that means, but you know what I mean. Just sort of like action, just energy. Like he just smashed through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man. Chevy Van, you said, are we doing a little Hitman skull in the mix? You know, it is a good call. You know I love doing a skull. Maybe we can figure out some way to work it in. Let me know if anyone has any suggestions on where I could work a skull into this. I got quiet because I was concentrating on not messing up. I was like thinking about the letters and the spacing and just making sure I was happy with it. And then I stopped talking. I think we're not going to know until I fill it in. And now at this point, I can sort of look and figure out where the problem areas are. And it's like this needs to taper a little bit. And again, using the modifier as an eraser. You'll notice that the tapping is very quiet now, even though the mic is right next to my hand, because I am using these pen tips 2 from Pen Tips. And I don't even really want to talk about that much because I don't even have affiliate links set up. But they're pricey. But I think it's sort of worth it because it seems to last so much longer because they're kind of soft, so they don't get that like flat spot. Like I've been using this one for a while and doing a lot of drawing. I always do a lot of drawing, but like, you know, an extra amount lately because I had a couple projects that I was working on that were due, so I was like trying to wrap them up. But very drawing heavy is what I'm saying. And it's not, I don't have any flat spots. So though they're expensive, they last, it seems to last way longer than the regular ones. Okay, so let's turn back on the sketch. And let's, I guess I'm just gonna try to wing it with this. So I'm gonna start with the T because I wanna like kind of tuck these letters in to each other a little bit. And I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. Diana, Lisa, you're saying the sound is going out again? I hope that's not the case. It could just be me trailing off, which I tend to do. Chevy, you said you were on YouTube on your phone, and it's such a different experience. I'm loving this layout attending after all. Oh, so was the, is it better horizontal or vertical? So Hassan, you're asking if I got the pen tip bundle with the screen protector. So they actually reached out and sent me a bunch of stuff to test out, and I have the screen protector on right now. And at first, I thought it was a little bit too aggressive for how soft the tip was. But I don't know if it just like kind of wore in a little bit, but now I think that they work well together. It's very, there's a lot of resistance, but it's like good resistance. So I am using all of the, well, I say all, I'm using the pen tips cover, the magnetic cover, and the pen tip 2. But let me confirm. Let's see. Not that. So these are they're not labeled. I think they're the 2 plus, pen tip 2 plus. Anyway, they're my favorite tips right now. That all said, Apple's big event next week. There's gonna be a new Apple Pencil, and I heard rumors of interchangeable tips. So who knows what's coming? So we'll have to wait to see about that. All right, so I did a bad job with the heart lettering, so we're gonna fix that. Should have done it on a new layer, but I didn't. So we just need more space for some of these letters. So they're kind of bumping into each other. I don't know, I keep forgetting to set up the affiliate stuff with pen tips because I've been into their stuff. But it is pricey though. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's coming from another country, so it might not be as pricey if you are in the country where they are, which I think it's the Netherlands, but maybe I'm making that up. All right, so let's erase this heart from the other layer. Okay. I think we can move heart in a little bit. So what I'm thinking is we can maybe make the Hitman, oops, not right, not using the right tool. Oh, it's vertical on live, which is, oh yeah. So you prefer the vertical, as I'm loving the little screens and background you have going on. Thanks. So yeah. So I think the issue is when I had issues before, I had to switch my mic to just the standard mic and not through I think my issue is with the wave link stream maybe had an issue. I don't know. I got to sort it out. So I think because I'm drawing, I start to mumble, and I think a lot of it is me just not being mindful of the mic. But I need to get the wavelength thing fixed. I think that's the issue. So I want to try this Hitman lettering pink, and I kind of want to try drop shadow, but can't do black because it'll obscure the hair. But I don't know. We're gonna use an FPO color just to draw it in. This isn't the color that I'm gonna go with. I highly doubt, but I just want to see what this is gonna look like. So this is all just because I want to put a drop shadow on. So I'm just drawing it in this color, and then we'll see if it's gonna work. So I'm just drawing behind these letters. That's if it's confusing looking, that's what's happening. And I'm trying to visually connect them so I can fill it in because it's on a separate layer. So I'm trying to like hope I don't miss any spots. So I can just use the paint bucket. So I don't have to like turn off layers and double check. Okay. Go like that. And let's see if I did it right. Okay, I did. All right, so one option would be to make that hot pink, and then we could try Hitman and the lighter pink, maybe? Kinda cool, not sure, maybe. And then for the Bret Hart lettering, maybe just go straight up pink for those. Just kind of want to separate them back from the character itself. And we got to fix the mouth to get the teeth back because we didn't fill those in. So just using that background. I wonder if we had a darker background that might do something. Then maybe we could try I think that's too much. Let's just maybe we could put in like a little heart over here and maybe do a little skull on the other side. Hi everyone, I'm still here. All right, I think it's pretty cool. Maybe I just, sometimes I feel like I need to polish it up with a little grit. So I don't know, maybe just a quick little bit of texture on top just to, I don't know, make it less perfect. So let's see what we got here. Maybe the newsprint grain. I don't know. How big is this? Let's make this a little bit bigger. I think that one's too much. Let's find something better. Waxy roller. That's a pretty good one from the Woodland Wonderland set from Retro Supply Co. That's too much. Too much. Oh, you know what might be cool? If we do that to the drop shadow. Just give a little separation there, a little texture. And then maybe we can do some subtle, let's grab this grain and then come onto this layer only. So I'm going to make a new layer and then clip it to the Hitman. Then we can put in a little bit of, let's do. I think this, that one's a little much. All right, so I'm gonna grab the purple, and then I just want, I need to just go into texture area because there's, I don't have anything saved that I want. Standard grain, let's see. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Just wanted some little bit of that Woodland Wonderland set from Retro Supply Co. Link below. Just has some great textures in it. All right, I think we did it. I think I'm okay with this. This is Bret the Hitman Hart. I hope you had fun. I had fun. Sorry about the mishaps early on. Thank you for the super chat, Hassan. Really appreciate it. So no, Clint, it's not one stream for members and one stream for everyone else. YouTube just lets you simultaneously do horizontal and vertical. And because vertical live streaming is a new thing, YouTube pushes it out a lot more so than other stuff. So it's just a better way to get more channel visibility, which is important for a growing channel. Speaking of growing, we are super close to hitting 50,000 subscribers, which is pretty wild to me. When I started the channel a year and a half ago, I was thinking it would be great if I could get to 10,000 in a year. So we're almost at 50. Hasn't been 2 years yet. Excited about that. Couldn't do it without all of you. I live stream every Friday, almost always at 10:30 a.m. Make sure that you are subscribed. Ring the bell. Ring bells. That way you know when I'm going live. I may try to experiment doing more vertical only streams just because, you know, YouTube likes that right now. Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks to my moderators, Skippy McHaggis, The Good Chad, Diana Lisa. You're the best. Thank you again to all of my channel members. Thank you, Phil, for subbing. I really appreciate that. Smash that like button. Let's get my little character guy real quick. Where is it? There we go. This guy is gonna come in. I got this little animation I made. Here he is. Ready? He's got a big hammer. It's coming in. Boom! All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.